Hello everyone, it's Julie Cook. I am getting started on that big list of concerns that you had, and we're getting it kicked off with foundation, concealer, and powder today. I know one of the big questions I've been asked many times over the years is how to get your complexion perfect without looking like you're wearing too much makeup, especially as we age. So I've left my canvas blank for you so we can walk through it step by step. So let's get started. The first thing, and probably the most important thing, is to make sure that your skin is really truly prepped for the foundation. And what that really means is, number one, making sure it's clean. So I've already got my skin cleansed, and then making sure it's properly moisturized. So that can mean a couple of things. In the old days when I started in the business, that just meant moisturizer, but now we also have primers that can help achieve that look. So I tend to use both. And I'm going to use, first of all, a moisturizing primer, if you can see it there. And you want to warm it on the hands. Everything goes better when it's warm. It goes onto the skin more smoothly and easily, and it's blended like a dream when it's warm. You know, if you think about, like, if you're trying to butter your bread, right? And the butter's cold, and the bread's soft, it's a bad combo. Like, you tear up the bread. So it's the same kind of principle with your face. Not that you're going to tear it up, but you know, a little warmth to whatever product you're applying to the face helps it glide on so much easier. Just like if your butter is warmer or if your bread is warmer, you know, that just makes a lot of sense to me. So I hope that helps you too. So I've got my primer on. It's a hydrating primer. If you can see, it's given me a little bit of glow here now. So I really love that effect. I know not everyone loves a glow, so they do also make primers that are more mattifying, and it looks like I've screwed up my eyebrow over here. Terrific! That's exactly what I wanted. So now the next step for me is something that's kind of a versatile item. I really like a tinted moisturizer, especially right now while we're all wearing masks over the majority of our face. I don't really want to wear a big foundation and make it a complicated deal. So I am grabbing my tinted moisturizer and of course warming it. And that's just going to even out my skin tone a tiny bit, so that I feel a little more finished, if you will. And you can see it also imparts a glow. You know, the one I chose is one of my favorites. But if you like more of a matte look, of course, there are more matte looking tinted moisturizers to choose from as well. So next step then, if you're gonna do foundation, which I am to show you, would be grab a foundation that is really designed for aging. And there are many on the market now. The one I'm using has, again, sort of a dewy, glowy finish. And I want something that's gonna, you know, make my skin look more perfect and finished, but I don't want it to look too makeup-y. And so I am applying it with a little brush. And the thing you want to remember about the brush is that it can lay down more color than your fingertips or a sponge and get the most natural look. It's like magic to me. So if you can see, I'm going right in and I'm pushing against my pores in my nose to get some coverage there. See how nicely that covered? And then I'm going to pull out to the jawline so that I have very little product when I get out here, because I don't really need a lot of coverage there. So I'm gonna do the other side now. And you're just pushing into the nose. And you can even, if you feel like you need more coverage here, push it into the cheek, you know, toward the center of the face. Push, and then pull, 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 pull. down the face so that, you know, really once you get here, you have literally hardly any makeup there. So it just looks like your jawline and not like a mask. You know, the older we get, the less pretty that is. So then we're going to push in the center and pull out up into the hairline. So really, most of the foundation, you want to just concentrate in the center and then pull and smooth around. Does that make sense? Hope so. And then, you know, my poor little chin is also a little bit red and it has some pores that I want to kind of fill in. So I'm just pushing that makeup in and smoothing around the lip line. And then get the rest of my nose. I did about 3 pumps of foundation for my whole face. Just try to get all of that covered and smooth to your liking. You can use another pump and get a little more coverage. You could use one less pump and get a little more sheer look. You know, it's totally customizable and up to you, but that is the best technique to use to get that smooth, natural, glowy skin. So next thing on my list would be concealer. Typically, I'll do concealer like before foundation and eye makeup and all the things I have on today. I'm doing it a little bit out of order because I didn't want to frighten you all with a zero makeup face. And I wanted to show that, you know, you can do foundation before or after. It doesn't really matter. It's totally your preference. I know a lot of people who wear a lot of eye makeup tend to do it last, meaning the foundation and concealer last, because it helps clean up any fallout that's there. So just a little tip there. I typically do mine before because I like to have like a finished canvas before I apply the rest of my color, but it's totally up to you. So you want to go right in to the corner of the eye. That's where most of the darkness starts for most people. And if you can see, it's already like lightened and brightened it a little bit. And then for me, I have darkness on the other corner. Lucky me. And so I'm going to pat a little bit there as well. And you'll notice I'm not wiping and swiping. I'm literally patting, 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 patting. And then you kind of pat and blend them together. So this is more of a corrector type shade. It's peachy, pinky in tone because I have a blue, purple dark circle. If you have more of a brown to green tint type circle, you'll want to do something a little more red in tone as far as like a corrector. And then you'll put concealer on top of it. So I'm going to do the other eye. If you'll see, I'm just patting right in the inner corner to get that placed where most of the darkness starts. And then on the outer corner, pat, 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 pat. Don't rub it, pat it. Be patient with it. And then just blend the two together with whatever is left on your finger. There's no need to get more product. Many times, less is more. And it's so much easier to add to it than to take it away. So that's just a little corrector. That's not even the concealer, and it's already so much better and brighter. And then I'm going to take a shade for concealer that is just a little bit lighter than my natural skin tone. And I'm going to place it exactly where I placed the corrector, just to get more coverage and a little brightness. Can you see that? And then, like I said, no rubbing, lots of patting to get it melted into the skin. And then you can go like down right on top of the cheekbone there to give it just a little bit of highlight. So see how that's sort of lifted that side of the face? So again, just a little bit. Can you see how much I have? It's a really thin layer. I'm gonna pat it right in here in that hollow of the eye. You can even almost feel where there's a little bit of, it's not as voluminous under there anymore. So in the corner over here again, just because I need it, not everyone needs it. You know, take a good look at what you think you need and do that. Your face isn't going to be exactly like my face. Okay, and so then we're just blending together, patting, blending. You really can't blend it or pat it too much. Ah, so much better. Feels so good. All right, and then, you know, a lot of people shy away from doing powder as they age. And, you know, it's whatever you want to do. For me, I really feel like I need powder to set the makeup so it's not traveling everywhere. And in particular, I really want it under the eye area. And yes, powder can be the kiss of death under there. So you've got to use the right powder, and you've got to use, most importantly, the right technique. So try to find a tone that is similar to the tone under the eye, which I have here on my brush. And you want to pick a brush that is tapered. I don't know if you could see it, and kind of fluffy. And then you want to use like a press and roll type movement. And so you're going to go right in and press and roll. And press and roll. And like magic, it sets it without adding more texture when you're doing that press and roll type movement. And so I'm going to grab a little more powder on my brush to do the other eye. And I roll it in the powder and get it full of powder. I tap it so that the powder stays in the brush. And then I tap it again to get like rid of the extra. You see it flying there? Because Lord knows we don't want any extra dryness or powdery look under the eye. And then you're going to press and roll. And really, it's that simple. Any loose or pressed powder should work. You know, whatever you have, give it a try. If you don't love it, then you know, hey, I probably need something new that's a little more luminous. And so there are lots of things on the market that are not as mattifying, and that's what I recommend under the eye area in particular. And then I'm going to set the rest of my makeup with a little powder as well. And again, I'm gonna load up my brush. See all that powder in there? And then I'm gonna tap it so that it gets in the brush and stays. And then I'm gonna get all that excess off. And then I'm gonna press and roll. And press and roll until I feel like, okay, I need a little more powder, and then I go and dip back in and do that same thing where I tap it and then remove that little bit of excess. You can see it flying around. And just press and roll and press and roll until I've got everything covered. I hope that helps. Please, in the comments, ask any other questions that you have. And I'll see you soon with more about blush, highlighter, contour, bronzer, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching, and thanks for the inspiration.